Kelly Clarkson walked onto the bright, the audience clapping enthusiastically as she hugged Jenna Hager and waved to the crowd. The first few minutes of the segment were warm and lighthearted, filled with laughter as they talked about Kelly's recent projects, her new music, and life balancing her busy career with raising her kids. Jenna complimented Kelly on her resilience and positive attitude, but as the conversation shifted to her career decisions after leaving The Voice, Jenna asked, looking back, "Do you think stepping away from that show hurt your visibility in the industry?" Kelly's smile faltered just slightly, though she kept her voice friendly. "No, I think it gave me the space to do things on my own terms." Jenna nodded, but followed up. "Some critics say your absence from a big platform like that has made you less relevant in the mainstream? Oh. How do you respond to that?" The audience let out a soft murmur, sensing a change in tone. Kelly leaned forward, her voice still calm, but firmer now. "I didn't get into this business to be relevant. I got into it to make music and connect with people." The warmth in the room dimmed a little, replaced with a subtle tension neither woman seemed eager to break. Jenna offered a polite smile, but didn't let the moment pass. "I totally get that, but you know how this business works. Visibility matters. A lot of fans were surprised when you stepped away from The Voice, especially when you were such a central part of it. Some even say it looked like you were stepping back from the spotlight altogether." The audience quieted, leaning forward. Kelly shifted in her chair, adjusting her blazer as she replied, "Taking care of yourself and your family isn't stepping back. It's making a choice. I've been in this industry for 2 decades. I think I've earned the right to choose my pace." Jenna nodded but gently pushed again. "Sure, but do you ever worry about losing momentum in a career that's always moving forward?" Kelly's eyes narrowed slightly, her voice steady but carrying an edge. "I don't measure my life by momentum. I measure it by what feels right for me." A ripple of applause broke from the audience, though there were also murmurs of tension. Jenna's expression stayed composed, but her tone softened only slightly as she said, "I'm just asking because so many people love seeing you on their screens every week." Kelly gave a tight smile. "And I love connecting with them. On my terms." The exchange, while still civil, "I think part of the reason people were so surprised is because you've been really open about overcoming challenges both personally and professionally. Some people wondered if your decision to step away from certain projects was more about avoiding burnout, maybe avoiding difficult situations." The audience gave a soft, collective murmur at the more pointed question. Kelly's posture straightened, her smile tightening as she replied, "Avoiding burnout isn't weakness. It's strength. Avoiding toxic situations is called self-respect." Jenna nodded but pressed lightly, "So you'd say there were toxic situations?" Kelly gave a short, sharp laugh. "I'd say not everything behind the scenes is as friendly as it looks on camera." That drew an audible reaction from the audience, a mix of gasps and scattered applause. Jenna's eyes widened slightly, though she quickly regained composure. "I didn't mean to pry, I just think people are curious." Kelly leaned forward, her voice still even but now carrying weight. "Curiosity's fine, Jenna, but there's a line between curiosity and poking at something you know is personal." The tension in the room had thickened, and even the crew seemed to sense that the easy morning show energy had slipped away. Jenna gave a quick, conciliatory smile, glancing briefly toward the audience before returning her gaze to Kelly. "Really wasn't trying to cross a line. I think people just want to understand where you're coming from." Kelly's lips curved into a polite smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "I think I've made that pretty clear," she replied, her tone still measured, but cooler now. "I'm in a place where I'm choosing what's healthy for me. I don't owe an explanation beyond that." Jenna nodded, but her voice carried that persistent curiosity. "It's just that fans feel invested in your journey, and when you make big changes, they feel it too." Kelly leaned back slightly, crossing her legs, her expression sharpening. "My journey is mine first. It's a privilege to share it, not an obligation." A few claps broke from the audience, but the applause was hesitant, unsure if they were cheering for the sentiment or reacting to the tension they could feel building. Jenna's eyes softened as she replied, "I respect that." Kelly gave a short nod, but her fingers tapped lightly on the armrest, betraying her growing irritation. The upbeat, friendly atmosphere the show was known for was now replaced by something brittle. Jenna started to pivot the conversation toward a lighter topic, but Kelly was already shaking her head, a small, tight smile on her face. "You know what, Jenna? I think I've said everything I need to say." The audience shifted, sensing the sudden shift in tone. Jenna held her hands up slightly. "Kelly, I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable. I'm not uncomfortable," Kelly interrupted, unclipping her microphone with slow, deliberate movements. "I'm just done talking about this." A soft wave of gasps rippled through the crowd as she placed the mic on the coffee table between them. "I came here to share my music and connect with people, not to get cornered into explaining my life choices." Jenna's brows lifted, but she remained composed. Kelly stood, smoothing her blazer and offering a brief nod toward the audience. "Thanks, y'all," she said before turning toward the curtain. The click of her heels against the studio floor echoed as she disappeared backstage, leaving a mix of awkward applause and hushed whispers in her wake. Jenna sat back in her chair, forcing a polite smile, stopped rolling, asterisk for a moment, after Kelly disappeared. Backstage, the studio seemed suspended in an uneasy silence. The applause sign above the audience blinked, but only a few scattered claps filled the air before fading into murmurs. Jenna kept her smile in place, though her hands were clasped tightly in her lap, betraying the tension beneath her calm demeanor. Off to the side, a floor producer whispered urgently into a headset, signaling the band to start playing an upbeat filler tune that felt painfully out of place. From behind the curtain, faint voices could be heard, Kelly's team speaking quickly, the tone low and firm. Jenna glanced toward the side of the set as if expecting someone to step in and signal what to do next. But when no one did, she turned back to the camera. "Well," she said with a practiced laugh, "you never quite know what's going to happen on live television." The audience chuckled softly, though it carried an uncertain edge. The director cut to a wide shot, then to commercial, but even as the music swelled, the air in the studio still hummed with the electricity of a moment that had already crossed the line from awkward TV to headline-making drama, asterisk the second the cameras cut to commercial. The backstage area erupted in hurried movement. Kelly's publicist was already at her side, guiding her quickly toward the dressing rooms, while two assistants trailed behind, gathering her belongings. Crew members pressed against the walls to let her pass, exchanging wide-eyed glances as they caught the tension radiating from her brisk stride. In the control room, producers replayed the moment she set her mic down, muttering to each other about how the clip would be trending within the hour. A segment coordinator approached Jenna's side of the stage, offering to cut the rest of the interview and shift to a pre-recorded segment, while another staffer was dispatched to check if Kelly might be willing to return after a cool-down period. In her dressing room, Kelly tossed her blazer onto a chair and took a deep breath, her phone buzzing with a flood of notifications from friends, colleagues, and even other celebrities who had already caught wind of what happened. Meanwhile, Jenna sat quietly at her desk, both women acutely aware that whatever had just unfolded was already on its way to becoming the story of the day. Asterisk. By early afternoon, the walk-off had consumed social media timelines, climbing to the top of trending lists under hashtags like hashtag Kelly walks off and hashtag Jenna vs Kelly. Audience-shot videos surfaced within minutes, each one capturing the exact moment. Kelly set her mic down and stood up. Some slowed down for dramatic effect, while others were paired with remixes of her songs. Entertainment blogs pushed headlines such as "Awkward Morning TV Moment as Kelly Clarkson leaves mid-interview," while daytime talk segments began replaying the clip and speculating about what might have sparked her reaction. Camps some praising Kelly for standing her ground and refusing to let the conversation push past her comfort zone. Others siding with Jenna and calling it an overreaction to a reasonable question. Jenna's show account posted a cheerful highlight from a later cooking segment, carefully avoiding any mention of the walk-off, but the comments were flooded with demands for the full, unedited interview. Kelly's own social channels stayed silent until later that evening, when she posted a photo of a quiet sunset with the caption, "Peace over everything." The simple post garnered hundreds of thousands of likes, only adding fuel to the swirling speculation. The following morning. Kelly stayed home in Nashville, padding barefoot into her kitchen with a mug of coffee while the faint hum of her phone. Notifications buzzed from the counter. She glanced at the flood of texts, friends checking in, her team sharing links to articles. Industry colleagues offering both sympathy and advice before turning the phone face down and focusing on the sound of her kids laughing in the next room. Across the country in New York, Jenna arrived at the Today studio with her usual warm smile, though her producers could tell she was still turning the previous day's events over in her mind. In the makeup chair, she scrolled through social media, noting how quickly the narrative had shifted from playful morning show banter to pointed headlines about an on-air clash. During the production meeting, there was quiet debate about whether to acknowledge the incident directly or let it pass without comment, but the consensus was to move forward with the day's programming. Even so, both women were aware that paparazzi were lingering outside their known hangouts, hoping to catch a candid remark. For now, neither offered the press a single word, leaving the story to grow and evolve in the echo chamber of the internet. A week later, the walk-off had settled into that strange middle ground where it was no longer dominating headlines, but still very much alive in online conversation. Clips of the moment continued to circulate on TikTok, often paired with dramatic music or comedic edits, while entertainment podcasts dissected whether the exchange revealed deeper tensions between Kelly and Jenna. Morning show rivals debated the etiquette of high-profile interviews, some defending Jenna's persistence and others applauding Kelly for drawing a line. Kelly addressed the matter briefly in a radio interview, her tone light but measured. Sometimes you just have to remove yourself from a situation. No hard feelings. Jenna, in a separate interview, said warmly, "I adore Kelly. Live TV is unpredictable, and that's what makes it exciting." Despite the friendly public statements, industry insiders noted the two hadn't crossed paths again at any public events. Fans, however, were already calling for a reunion segment, convinced that a follow-up would pull huge ratings. In the world of daytime television, the incident had become more than just a viral clip. It was a reminder of how quickly a polished set could turn into the stage for a very real, a very human moment. Asterisk.